as a follow-up, I'm looking at the purpose of the grant. I have the grant in front of me. And it's on page 3, Roman numeral 3. It says the purpose of the grant. And it says the purpose of the grant under the program was to enable the state education agency to design, develop, implement statewide longitudinal data system to efficiently and accurately manage, analyze, disaggregate, and to use individual student data. So that it says that the individual student data will be used.
Respond?
Thank you, Representative Reinbold, through the chair. Yes, individual student data is in the database, and it is aggregated when it is reported. But to be very clear, individual student data is stored in the database. It is de-identified, but it is at the unit level.
And I also want to talk about any interaction you have with the Institute for Education Sciences at the U.S. Department of Education. Do you have any interactions with the Institute for Education Sciences at the U.S. Department of Education?
And through the chair, Representative Reinbold, to your question on IES, the Institute for Educational Statistics is the body of the United States Department of Education that is managing the grant program.
So can you speak today in regards to your interaction that you have with them, and also talk about the governance team?
Through the chair, Representative Reinbold, relative to Department of Education and IES specifically, we do meet with them monthly to report progress on the grant project. And as you noted, we are required to travel to Washington, D.C. to attend their best practices conference annually.
Okay. So back in 2011, the Alaska Commission of Post-Secondary Education applied for a grant to create the P20W. The grant number, again, is 84.372. It has 3 priorities. And the Alaska applied for the 3rd priority to link the workforce and higher education to K-12 data. One technical requirement of this grant is on page 2. The RFP states that the data will include yearly test records of individual students with respect to assessments under Section 111B of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act of 1965. Is this the standard-based test, which we're now calling the MAP test the Alaska students will be taking in March, or is this a different test?
Through the chair, Representative Reinbold, that is correct. It is the AMP test, Alaska Measures Progress, or the historical state assessment.
Move on to another test mentioned in the technical specifications is the College and Career Readiness, Student Level College Readiness Test Scores. Is this the College and Career Readiness Test, the ACT, SAT, and Workkeyes from ACPE?
Through the chair, Representative Reinbold, this is Carrie Thomas again. It is the ACT, SAT, and Workkeyes tests that are through the national providers that will be included.
Okay. Okay, another aspect of the grant is the information on students that are not being tested. Can you tell me what kind of information you're looking for in regards to that, and where you're going to get this information so you know what to report on them?
To the chair, Representative Reinbold, and for the record, this is Stephanie Butler speaking. Examples of data that would be included on students who are not tested would be students who dropped out of the education pipeline prior to being administered the test.
Would any other information be collected on these students at all?
Through the chair, Representative Reinbold, yes, if those students showed up in post-secondary education, if they came back into the education pipeline, for example, attempting to earn a GED, or if those students later appeared in the state's workforce system.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If your students attend private school or are homeschooled, they're not in this database. Is that correct?
Through the chair, Representative Drummond, if they are reported to the Department of Education and Early Development, they are in the database. So some students who are privately schooled, homeschooled will be, others will not. It depends on whether or not they're reported to the K through 12 system.
Mr. Chair, if I could, the homeschools that are managed through school districts, I can understand how they would, but are there homeschooled students and private school students that voluntarily are reported to the State Department of Education?
Through the chair, Representative Drummond, there are students who are homeschooled who don't touch the state's education system, and those would not be in the database.
I didn't, Mr. Chair, if I could, I didn't hear the entire answer. You said that there are private schools and homeschoolers that report to the state. How does a private school get to report to the state? Do they just choose to report to the state and the state says, okay, we like your data, so we'll accept it? Or we would love to have access to your data and therefore some accountability on how our various schools are doing?
Through the chair, thank you, Representative Drummond, for that clarification. If the private school or the home school reports the students to the state for some reason, which is normally they're receiving some kind of public funds, then they will indeed be in the database. A good example would be students who are reported from private schools as being APS eligible and using APS funds. Those students who are, for example, homeschooled and do not participate in a program through a district or through the state would not be in the database.
Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair.
Follow up?
You'll have to tell me what APS, remind me what APS is.
I'm sorry, we have
all
such
right.
acronyms speak. Thank you for asking that. It's the Alaska Performance Scholarship.
Okay.